Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this week's AMA for Trade the Chain. It is January 22nd. Thank you. We got a good crew on today. We got a bunch of stuff to go over, particularly some research, both from Josh, TheTie, and Dennis. But before I get ahead of my skis, I'm going to hand it over to Ryan, who really knows what he's doing.
Thanks, Alex. This is just a reminder that all content provided by Trade the Chain is for informational purposes only. None of this is investment advice and should not be construed as such. Please, as Alex always pleads with you, do not listen to us. We are not experts by any stretch. Now that we have that out of the way, during today's AMA, we're going to go over a few things. One will be more information on the affiliate program. We have Weston's Trading Corner, a lot of people's favorite segment of these AMAs. We have Weston and Trading Nichols, who's joined us this week to go over our, Sig-Dev trading strategies and how to filter the Sig-Dev alerts. Alex will go over dashboard customization. Josh will always share some. Josh, as always, will share some of his great research that the hedge funds just gobble up, and we like to provide to you. And then Dennis will, of course, share some research as well. Before we get to that, though, I want to formally introduce Trading Nichols to those of you who may not know him. He's our favorite Southern mechanic turned crypto trader. He's our second community ambassador, and we're really happy that he's taken on this role. So Trading Nichols, thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. Great. So Alex, now, if you could tell us more about that affiliate program that I know some people have been asking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to talk about the affiliate program real quick. That's launching and will be in the community in a minute. And then also, since we have a lot of new members, I'm going to do a round robin. We'll just all briefly say who we are and if we have day jobs, what we do.
Okay.
But yeah, first about the affiliate program. So what's going to happen is we're launching an affiliate program to the members, and basically what that allows you to do is to get a paid compensation for anybody who you might introduce who joins Trade the Chain. It's very much if you're a fan of Dan Digital Asset News, Rob runs that joint and he's really cool and goes about it very nicely. He has an affiliate link as well, which he shares with his members. It allows parties to be rewarded. We're going to have that as well, and it's a reoccurring income type thing. So, but at least you get to capitalize on any introductions that you do make. We will put those how you generate your own link and maintain your own account in the community, as well as provide the graphicals for that. We do have a lot of new members this month that have come on board, and thank you, every one of you, very much. And I just want to go around the room here and kind of introduce who we are. There's older members who do know, but I'll start off with myself, and then we can go from there. So my name's Alex Massioli. I am part of the crew at Trade the Chain. This is a project that Ryan, myself, and Doug, and a bunch of other team members came up with and produced in conjunction with Josh over at TheTie. We held them down and made a deal. But my main job is head of institutional services over at Bequant Group. We're one of the largest prime brokers in crypto in the space, with trading floors in London, Malta, Switzerland, New York, all having a presence. Cumulatively, our hedge funds are all over the world. And just an example of how good the volatility was in the month of December, our trading desk facilitated about 9.6 billion in volume across multiple exchanges in the crypto world. So that's what I do. I work on the institutional side. I'll hand it over to Ryan, and he can introduce himself as well.
Thanks, Alex. So yeah, I'm one of the co-founders here at Trade the Chain along with Alex, and my day job is working actually with Alex as Bequant's head of communications, corporate communications, and public relations. I also work with other companies, including eToro, LMAX, another exchange that I just signed today that I can't quite name publicly yet, but also a hedge fund named Alpha Capital, Solidus Labs, a risk monitoring solution. Basically, I have the institutional crypto PR market cornered. So I have an extensive background in institutional asset management before I went into PR as a journalist as well. So we have a really well-rounded team here, and we're really excited that we get to share this project with all of you. I'll kick it over to Weston so he can tell you what he does for us and what his day job is.
Great. In a nutshell, so my name is Weston Nelson. I actually came from a traditional finance background. Started at Ameriprise Financial, then Fidelity Investments for a couple years, and then I trade crypto full time, and then trade the chain full time. So those are my two things. Just happy to be here. Love to see the growth that the community's having. So hopefully we have a solid 2021.
Tell us more a little bit about what you do for Trade the Chain, Weston, so everyone here knows how they can reach you and how you can be of help to them.
So a lot. I'm pretty busy. We've got a lot of stuff going on, but what I focus on is trying to help members take advantage of the platform and learn how to trade profitably, like the same way that I'm doing, because there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's really not that hard to make good trades when you know what you're doing. So, just educating and then looking out for, how can we improve this continuously over and over to make the member experience better and better.
And then Dennis, would you like to go next, please?
Bueller?
Dennis?
I think Dennis might be having technical issues, so I'll go for Dennis. Dennis is head of research for Trade the Chain. He's also as well doubles as our head of research over at BQuant. He is one of the most prolific crypto researchers in the space. You'll see him, he is Vino in the community, and he's the one who drops little nuggets throughout the day covering the various cryptos. Those, I will say this again and again and again, those little nuggets that Vino drops in the announcements through the course of the day are like disguised Sig-Dev alerts, okay? Just follow them closely. He's very smart at it. Next, we have Josh.
Hey guys, I'm Josh. I'm the co-founder and CEO of TheTie. We are a data and information services company for the crypto space. We are actually the company that provides all of the data to the TTC platform behind the scenes. So if you have any questions about data, anything like that, I'm here to help. And just if you ever want me, just tag me in a post. I got a lot of stuff going on, but if you tag me in any of the discussions or chat rooms, I'll make sure to come back and leave a comment and answer any questions you guys have.
And the same goes for all of us, by the way. Feel free to tag any of us on this AMA in any of your discussions, and we'll be happy to assist or answer any questions you do have. And, last but not least, Trading Nichols, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been a full-time mechanic for several years and got a YouTube presence going. But about a year ago, I knew that one of my contracts was going to end. I needed to do something new. So I got into trading, and it just surprised me how much crypto sucked me in. I thought it'd just be a part-time thing, but now it's what I do full-time.
All right, very cool. Ryan, what do we got next?
We have, so the affiliate program you already spoke about, we have Weston's Trading Corner. Weston, tell us about some of your most popular trades this week, or what are your most profitable trades this week?
Ryan, why don't you do this?
All right.
Why don't you preface Weston's Trading Corner for all the tons of new people that we have?
Okay, yeah, sure. That's a great idea. So Weston's Trading Corner, each week, Weston goes over some of his most profitable trades of the week. They can be from Sig-Dev alerts, they can be from social sentiment data, and he picks his 3 most profitable. Since he's trading full time all week, he's the one printing money in this community. He's by far the most successful crypto trader I've come across.
That's why he's head of
not at a large hedge fund. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And the 3 coins he's going to go over this week are DEX, DEXC, Sushi, and Curve. Sorry, I didn't set the stage for you there, Weston, properly. Please go ahead.
That was perfect. And then I'm going to share my screen. You should be able to see the TTC dashboard.
Yep.
So yeah, this week, fantastic week of trading. I hope for myself, but I hope for members of the community as well. We had some great Sig-Devs, incredible sentiment across the board. Great time to be trading crypto. So first one I wanted to touch on was ticker DEXE, D-E-X-E. We actually got 2 alerts about this. The second one, though, is the one I want to focus on. It's a Binance listing, came in yesterday. I went in immediately, came out about maybe less than a half hour later for about 15% profit. Just easy peasy done. The night before, or 2 nights before, there was a Binance innovation listing for the same ticker, which I also entered and gained about 20% before exiting in about an hour, or 2 hours or something. So those were great. Second one, sushi. Kind of an interesting one as well, because this has been strong fundamentally. Also, the sentiment has just been off the charts, so I've been in and out of it. There was a Sig-Dev, I don't know if anybody caught it, KuCoin listed sushi. And so on the week, I think we're up around 50%, which I've been trading in and out of. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, guys. I'm just going off the top of my head.
No, I mean, if you look at, I got to interrupt here for a sec, Wes, because if you look at that sushi price real quick, you're at 683. That's been moving up the sentiment charts on the TTC dashboard for the last 5 weeks. Since the $2 range, we've had Dennis covering it in TTC commentary since that time. Literally $2, I think it was $2.40, $2.50, all the way up to 683 now.
Yeah, so you got a 200% gain, just holding that essentially. Exactly. And then the last one, Curve, ticker CRV. They've had so they did have a Sig-Dev, but there's also a lot of fundamental stuff going on in the background as well. So I've been trading in and out of this. Current price is $2.04. It's up 11.5% just in the last 24 hours. So I entered that again with the Sig-Dev that came recently. So has been a fantastic week trading, and I hope that others have been able to take advantage of these alerts and all this sentiment data too.
I think one of the important points here, Weston, that you have to mention is that with some of these trades, with the Sig-Dev alerts, the amount that these coins go up, you can pay for your annual membership in one trade, right? And this is just in 1 week. So the amount of earning potential here by following these Sig-Dev alerts is massive. Returns, of course, aren't guaranteed, but if you pay attention to them and get in and out in the way Weston does, and he'll show you how he does that next in his Sig-Dev trading strategies, you can make your membership back fairly quickly. So Weston, show us how you do it, and you're going to get a little bit of an assist here from Trading Nichols.
Okay. So yeah, something, everybody that we've kind of consistently been coming up as a trend is that, there are a lot of Sig-Devs that come in. Which ones should you pay attention to? And I think it's our view, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'd rather have you all give you all the opportunities as opposed to less and let you decide. And so that's where it's important to know how to filter. So if I were to, can you guys still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so like now I'm showing, I'm trying to show the Sig-Devs in Slack.
Okay. There
Yes.
we go.
Okay.
Yep.
So, because I figured this might be a little more helpful. So, yeah, you look at this feed and you're like, oh boy, geez, what do I do? Well, so again, as with everything, a little bit of a learning curve, but this is the easiest part of Trade the Chain. And like Ryan said, I mean, I've literally made the membership annual fee back like multiple times in one single trade. So, where's the DEXE? DEXE was yesterday. So right here, Binance pay attention to those, the Binance effect, the Coinbase effect. Those are real, those work. I think I'm 100% on every Binance listing. Of course, that could go wrong at any point, but every single one of these has been a winner for me. So I see this 1204. I bet I was in by 1204 or 1205. And then it got listed officially somewhere along there. But you see, like, a lot of these, delisting the projects, ignore, just don't pay attention to it. But I shouldn't say ignore, but I filter through it and I'm like, okay, well, that's not relevant. Zeno, I didn't know anything about it. So I ignored. Recurrent buy, filtered it. Ontology futures, same thing. So this is kind of what I'm doing. I look at it right away, but then decide based on there. And then there's the sushi, I believe was on Ferrum. I missed out on this one actually. Kind of a bummer. Ferrum.
Trading Nichols, how do you filter these alerts so you can use them more effectively? I'd love to
Yes,
hear how you're able to do that.
Absolutely. So really, it all depends on data, right? And I think it's thanks to Josh that we know that there are certain alerts or certain list exchanges or dexes where you can exchange on have a better effect than anything else does. So what your key is I actually have it pinned, that research. If you go to the crypto millionaire inner circle, if you go on the top left of that, you see it says pinned. And there you can find my comment that has this one, exactly what Weston pulled up for us. So you can see what the average return is on the hour and on the day. Now, you'll notice all these figures are positive, but included as well is the possibility of it going down. So things that only pop a couple of percent, I'm not too interested in. But something that can pop 5%, 16%, 23%, that's fantastic. And on that same pinned comment, I also have another shared data of the Coinbase effect versus pre-listing effect. You can get possibly 43% return if you get it on something that is pre-announced and held to the day that it is announced on Coinbase. You got in early.
That was the other big question. Thank you for bringing that up. People have asked, like, oh, it's not on Binance yet. That's where you go to Uniswap to pick it up and get the huge gains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Weston's saying is absolutely true. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been asked this question. Others on our team have been asked this question. I had one gentleman come up and say, "Listen, I don't know if this is for me because the exchange, a couple exchanges that the coin listings come up, I don't have accounts at." Well, that's not the purpose. You don't need to trade the coin at the exchange it's getting listed at. The price action effect is across the market. So if you have an exchange account, let's say KuCoin, and Binance gets a listing alert, you buy it at KuCoin. The price is going to go up just like it's going up at all the other exchanges. So don't worry about having an account open at all the different exchanges for the Sig-Devs. Worry about having access to the coin.
Exactly. And I think, more to that point, some of that those numbers that Trading Nichols was sharing, they were a product of research done by TheTie. So I think it makes sense, at this point, to have Josh tell us a little bit about the Coinbase effect and how exactly that works to help a coin, go up the Coinbase or Binance effect. So, Josh, if you're able to give us just a brief summary of some of that research that you've done.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, the general idea with exchange listings, and we spoke about this before, so if somebody's already heard, I apologize, is that with an exchange listing, the reason that it results in a price movement is because all of a sudden an asset that was available on an exchange that had a very small number of users is available on an exchange with a very large number of users. So for example, if an asset that was only available on KuCoin and BitMax and maybe a few other smaller exchanges that have, maybe 1 million users between them that are active or less, gets listed on Coinbase, which has 50 million users, all of a sudden you have 50 times as many people that can potentially buy an asset. And so just inherently because of that, when you log into Coinbase and you're looking for opportunities, it's now one of the 30 or 40 coins that are available to you. And because of that, people believe that it will go up in the future. And if you think about specific things, for example, there have been developments that maybe you guys wanted to trade on, but the asset, but that asset wasn't available on one of your exchanges. Well, almost everybody has a Coinbase account. So with any type of news, any development around an asset that's listed on Coinbase, inevitably just more people can buy it. So that asset is, generally going to have a bigger impact. And so because of that, Coinbase, Binance, and the bigger exchanges have a much bigger impact as it relates to exchange listings. And I can kind of show that to you guys. Give me 2 seconds here, or more than 2 seconds, just trying to load this document.
Also, Josh, can you tell us a little bit while you're doing that, what the difference between listing and pre-listing or exchange innovation zone? Can you tell us what that is as well, how that factors into the Coinbase effect or the Binance effect?
Yeah, generally speaking, you just want to buy the first time anybody talks about an asset being on an exchange. It doesn't matter what word they use, but if it's the first time anybody's describing it, that's what you want to look for. So for example, if Binance announces that they're going to be listing something, or it's the pre-listing of, or they put something in the innovation zone, that's generally the first time something is announced. And if you want to get the maximum potential return, that's when you want to enter that position. So what we've seen, for example, with Coinbase, and I'll show this in a second, is from the time they announce the listing to the time it's announced, you usually see upward price movement, and there still can be positive price movement on the day the listing actually happens. But generally speaking, where you want to be in is before that listing actually occurs, right? Because the second it's on Coinbase, a lot of the hype has already been played in. It's kind of like a buy the rumor, sell the news type event, right? Where you're buying the idea that it's going to be on Coinbase, but generally speaking, you'll see that it will go down right after. And I'll kind of show you what that looks like. Can you guys see this here?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And so we could see, for example, here, this is, Coinbase listings 30 days before and after a listing. And what we've seen is that there are actually generally some outsized impacts. But when the listing actually occurs, for the most part, the price will actually go down after a month or so. So a lot of times you see like a few days before when they're announcing the event, you'll see some upwards price movement going on here. But a lot of times the price will actually fall after. And so we can see that here, right? Leading up to the listing and then after the listing, in most cases, actually, the price will actually go down after a period of time. So you don't actually want to hold on to that asset. The big movement is really preceding the listing, going into the first few days of the listing. And we can see that, we can see that here. So for example, these are when there have been a couple of listings where they're not really making a pre-announcement, where listing just becomes available all of a sudden, as opposed to saying in 3 days. And what we've seen is that in the case of Coinbase, there's about a 33% return on an asset that's just listed on any given day, the performance on that listing day. The other way that an asset can be listed is when they announce that an asset is coming in the future. And generally speaking, you can see here that's a week before, 8 days before. This was they've been quite a while. Sometimes it's 5 days. So it's there's been a difference. This one was 3 days. But generally speaking, on the day they announced it, we've seen an average of 23.7%. From the announcement to the date of listing, we'll see about a 43% growth rate. And on the date of listing, it's a 7.5%. But in almost every case, the day after the listing, the price has gone down. So you do not necessarily, if you're trading off of this event, the best place to be in terms of historical events has been at the announcement. If you can get in at the announcement, you can hold through the listing, but you do not want to hold for a very long time after that, because when an asset moves up by 43% in a few days, it's inevitably going to correct, even if it's on Coinbase all of a sudden. So something just to kind of be aware of. And there's a lot of different ways to kind of look at things. We've also seen, tweet volume skyrocket, on listings on average. I mean, we're talking, 1,000%. So just looking at relative tweet volume, it has a big impact. On the listing day, sentiment skyrockets. And on the next day, sentiment is actually generally high, but the price will go down just because it moved up so much the day before. But here's actually an updated chart on a lot of those listings with some more data on 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week returns. And something that's interesting actually is that for whatever reason, Kraken and OKEX and a few other exchanges actually have very large 1 week returns. So while Coinbase does not, some of these other exchanges do. And so Kraken, Binance have, kind of stronger one week returns, as opposed to Coinbase. So something interesting just to take a look at. But broadly speaking, the average impact across all exchanges is about 4% on a day and about 12% on a week on the announcement of a listing. And yeah, that's
and Josh, this research is going to be available on the 26th, correct? It's being published publicly?
Yes. Yes.
So Mark, I saw you. Sorry, Alex, what was that?
I said sneak peek, but yeah,
Sneak
we'll
peek,
make it
yes.
available when it's public.
Mark, yeah, we're Josh and I also work together with eToro, the European exchange. It's being published on the 26th, and as soon as it's published, I will make sure that you have a copy. I'll send it to you, so that way you can access it more easily.
And I just have to pipe in real quick. So what Josh is showing you guys is the data that is actually once it's done for the day. If you really want to ninja trade and get some massive gains, that like you go in and out and in and out in time and you learn how to do it. That's how I'm getting 100% returns in and out. Like the CeeLo listing, I'm in 100% out and then in, out. It's a little more learning curve, but that's the like, you know.
And to that, Weston, that's a great point, and thank you for sharing that. But you know, Weston is our community manager, so if you're in the community, he's there posting a lot. Follow him along. You'll see him posting his tidbits about, you know, going into a trade, during a trade, and after a trade, and that's going to be really helpful for all of you guys. And so if you generate questions out of those posts as he's taking you through the journey, just DM him or DM us, whatever, and we'll answer.
Absolutely, that's a great point, Alex. And we are going to get into the dashboard customization in a second, but first I want to give a shout out to a few of our new members who have been particularly active in the space. Just a warm welcome to Matt McKenna, Steve Chagnon, Crypto Mo, Kevin, Per Crypto, Knucklehead 260, Rovina Bonte, Courtney Edwards, Rebecca Razor, Trevor Stoiberg, Shamrocks, AHMJVD, I'm Jivited, Ross, Wojak, Moniasi, Nick Button, Isaac Pound, Brandon Bauman, Acid Protocol, and Andrew Dennis. All of you, welcome. Thanks for joining us, and I'm sorry if I missed you. We had 75 new users in the past 7 days, I think. That's the most we've added in 1 week. So thank you very much for joining, all of you.
100%, thank you.
Alex, before you get into the dashboard customization, there's a quick question for Weston from Courtney Echeverria. When you say in and out, Weston, are you using Uni the whole time, or are you going to an exchange once it's listed?
Oh, so that's a great question. It's entirely case dependent. To go back to the CeeLo example, that was already on Coinbase. I had assets on Coinbase. I literally just converted into CeeLo. Held it for 44 minutes, saw it tick down, moved out, 100% gain. And the other ones that are not listed on a major exchange would be like on a Uniswap or SushiSwap. Exactly. Is that hopefully
it is definitely preferable to get in on the major exchange if you can because of gas fees. But if it's a coin you've never heard of before, go straight to Uniswap.
Agreed. Alex, can you show us how to customize the dashboard?
Sure. Take about 120 seconds here, but I will do it just because we get asked this question a lot. I do want to say it is really great to see a lot of crypto women and gals in here joining, so that's really huge. Thank you guys for joining. That's a big deal for us. So here's your main landing page. You're going to come in and you're going to sign in, and then you go to your spotlight page. From here, you'll go to your coin screener page, and this is where Weston was talking about your daily sentiment trading that you're going to be using and the tools. This is the default view. So this shows you the various different columns of data being presented, and you can customize this. And a lot of people, sometimes they don't realize it, but that's why we're here. If you go to the upper left-hand corner here to customize columns, you have a bunch of options in order to customize the data being shown. I particularly like to see the 7-day, the 30-day, and the USD. 1 hour, I'm not so sure about market cap dominance for people who like that displayed. There's also the hourly sentiment as well. One of the things that we have is there's a lot of chatter in the community over the last day or so about BTC trading or trading in BTC pairs. So for those who want to see it in BTC pairs, they can just unclick the USD and go right on over. And now you have BTC, your long exposure on the pairs. But the columns are, there's a lot of data across the columns. You want to see what it looks like with everything clicked, and it gets quite crowded. So that's it. You have to scroll, but you can just resort back to it by hitting reset to default, close, and start fresh again. But this is the little tutorial in customizing the columns. There's a lot of choices, folks.
And Alex, could you touch on just why is it important to know of the BTC pair? You know, because I've got that question a couple times. Trading pairs, you know, USD, USDT, BTC.
Yeah, absolutely. So BTC pair trading is mainly a legacy trading pair before a lot of USD was adopted on exchanges as crypto was evolving. It still is a big trading pair with Asian investors. They typically like to be crypto native during their trading patterns. But the one thing that you got to watch out when you're trading against BTC instead of USD or a USDT pair is the fact that, bless you, Ryan, is the fact that you're going to have that BTC long exposure. Now, that's great if BTC is going up, and it's going to be not so great if BTC is going down. If price action moves both coins in the pair upwards or down, it's going to act as a double levered ETF. So if you're very bullish on your coin, plus you're very bullish on BTC, you will have an acceleration of price action to the upside if that's where it goes. Just remember, folks, if both those coins take a devalue and the price action moves downwards, it's going to be accelerated towards that level as well. So just watch your long exposure on the pair you're trading against.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Alex. And thanks for bringing that up, Weston. One more thing I wanted Josh to show all of us is we've also done some research on how the sentiment of individual coins changed over the course of last year, just to give you an idea for how quickly the tide can turn, so to speak, in crypto. And Josh put together a great visualization to really map that out for you and show you pretty in an easy to digest way. Josh, can you share that with us?
Sure. I mean, this is looking at long-term sentiment score. But you can see kind of over the year, oh, that's asset performance. Here's investor sentiment. It's a little hard to visualize, to see, but you can see kind of how investor sentiment changed throughout the year. This is actually the change in investor sentiment. So Bitcoin investor sentiment, you can see the white line is actually the sentiment score. And so you can see Bitcoin sentiment was really low in Q1 and then basically surged from Q2, dipped a little in Q3, went back up in Q4. But you can see for most major assets, sentiment actually rose throughout the year. The exception being Dash, Ethereum Classic, Tron, and Tezos. Tron saw the biggest dip, which is quite interesting. And something to note about Tron is it actually saw almost all of its movement in September, which kind of corresponded with the sentiment increase. Amidst that DeFi bubble this summer, they released Sun Genesis mining and a few other things, which corresponded with that upward movement. But yeah, just an interesting way to kind of visualize how sentiment, can change over time. Let's see, I may have some, you can also see, how much tweet volume or the number of Twitter users talking about an asset has kind of changed throughout the year. And look at this giant jump for Bitcoin in Q4. So you can see Q1, Q2, Q3 was pretty flat. And then it had this, massive jump in Q4. And, you can see that's pretty consistent for most assets, with the exception being, EOS, which no one cares about anymore. Ethereum Classic, which after its 51% attack, nobody cared. And then Neo as well. And you can see also this is tweet volume 2020, 2018, 2019. We could see here, green line is 2020, blue line is 2018, red line is 2019. And so in 2018, tweet volume was more than in 2019 or 2020 for any asset, with the exception being Tezos. Tezos is the only asset that saw a increase in tweet volume this year versus 2018, but almost every asset was up versus 2019 and 2020.
Thanks for that, Josh. Angelos had a quick question, Alex, and follow up to you talking about, Bitcoin trading pairs.
Yeah, I saw that in the chat. I was actually just typing the answer.
Ah, gotcha.
But
Do you want to?
I will
Yeah.
talk it. I will talk it out though, because now that I've lost the chat. So let's see here. I believe the question was, what happens if BTC goes up and the other coin goes down when trading a pair against BTC? So if in that case, it's quite simple answer. Your arbitrage is going to be the difference between the BTC price and the coin price. The big difference in that from a USD or a stable coin pair is just going to be that BTC isn't pegged, so it has that fluctuation. So hey, listen, if BTC goes up 20%, or 2x, and your underlying coin goes down, a half an X, then hey, you're making out still. But the arbitrage is the difference in the price, just like it is between USD and the coin that you're trading against.
Bingo. Cool. So Dennis, have you been able to resolve your technical issues?
I believe so.
Excellent. Can you give us a quick preview of today's research note? Just share some of the tidbits from that before we publish it this afternoon. Dennis?
I think Dennis's tech situation is dire at this moment. We will be today's. So one of the things, guys, is also you got to pay attention, especially if you're new. Is if you're a new member, we do publish a daily research commentary report Monday through Friday, and that's on top of all those tidbit coverage feeds going out throughout the day. So go to the members portal. We do post them in the commentary channel on Slack. If you miss it or you want to read some back reports, go to the members portal. It's under TTC Research and Commentary. It's called the Trading Floor, and we have all the reports going back. So take a look at that. That's a real valuable. Most of them are traditional macro and crypto macro side by side, which a lot of the traditional crossovers like to see that. So just take a look.
Absolutely. Some of the best research in the business, if not the best research. That's why Dennis is all over the media. CoinDesk, Forbes, Fortune, Bloomberg, you name it. He's a go-to source of insights on the crypto markets for those outlets. And you have him all to yourself, people. Pick his brain. Feel free to ask him questions. He's happy to answer them.
He may not be able to talk on Zoom. His keyboard never stops working.
That British countryside, that British countryside Wi-Fi isn't quite up to snuff, I guess. All right, unless anyone else has any other questions.
Made me a lot of money, so he can keep at it.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Unless anyone else has any other questions, I think that's it for today, right, everyone?
Oh wait, Rebecca.
Oh wait, there's one more from Rebecca Reeser. Alex, do you want to take this?
Interesting that the tweet volume is not directly correlated. Oh, geez, I just lost it. To performance. Do you see any utility in taking tweet volume into account? I'm actually going to let Josh take that because he practically invented tweet volume.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, tweet volume is generally correlated with big movements. So it may not always be correlated with upward movement, but it can be correlated with downward movement. So it's important to understand what the sentiment corresponding with that tweet volume is. But generally speaking, if you have a tremendous number of people talking about an asset, either positively or negatively, it's going to create a lot of volatility on either the upside or the downside. So tweet volume is definitely something to be aware of, especially spikes in tweet volume, because generally speaking, if the asset hasn't moved yet, it may move very strongly when a lot of people are talking about something. For example, a lot of people were talking about XRP right after, the SEC's lawsuit, and then it dropped very strongly to the downside, right? So it is, it's good to see not only what sentiment is, but how large the number of conversations are corresponding with that sentiment, right? If 5 people are talking about something and they're negative, that's not going to have a giant impact. But if 1,000 people are talking about something and they're very strongly negative, that's going to have a much stronger impact.
Going down.
Rebecca, I'll just add to this real quick. When I do my daily sentiment trading off the screener page, Relative tweet volume is the second indicator I look at after selecting off the 1 hour projection, what I want. And to what Josh's point is exactly is I look at that because to me, that's going to indicate that I might have an event-driven price action movement. It may go up, it may go down, but it warrants me to get affirmation through investigation. So typically doing Google News search and stuff like that. But it is an event-driven indicator as far as I'm concerned.
And to piggyback on that, if you really want to dive deeper, okay, Decentraland, tweet volume, off the charts, go to Twitter and check out what's happening, you know? Like, is there something going on with Decentraland? You can find out. I mean, this is how you do it. This is how you get, it's like 40 minutes ago, okay, what's up? What's happening? You know, this is, you know, I won't go through all this, but that's how.
Exactly. So, Rebecca, to answer your question, it's a great indicator on event-driven news. That news can be negative or positive, but that will allow you, you don't care. That'll allow you to either save you from a position you're in that's about to go negative or be able to capture some alpha in a position before it goes positive.
Exactly. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this AMA, making us part of your day. We have another episode of Trade the Chain, our daily show, coming up later this afternoon. We're about to go jump and record that, Alex and myself, along with CJ and Monty. So we hope you join us for that later this afternoon. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.